Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today. So if you guys do not know, Drake's name is once again being called into question with the XXXTentacion murder that happened over 5 years ago. So let me take you back to a year. So last year it came out that they were trying to, send a subpoena to Drake and have him come to trial and basically testify what he did or didn't know concerning the murder of XXX that took place a few years ago. And so this was all over the news. Everybody was covering it. And then all of a sudden, nothing happened. He didn't have to come to court. Basically, Drake was protected and everything just quietly moved on. The killers were convicted and that was the end of that story. Let me go ahead and refresh y'all's memory right here.
This is why Drake was mentioned during the XXXTentacion trial. Now, it's nearly been 5 years since the world tragically lost XXXTentacion to a fatal shooting outside of a motorcycle dealership in Florida. In the years since his passing, his family and team have released several posthumous albums, a documentary, and his first child, Gekyung, was born. The trial for his 2018 murder against suspects Trayvon Newsome, Dedrick Williams, and Michael Boatwright finally began. Jurors heard both sides related to the case, but the most shocking revelation from the trial's first day was the mention of Drake as a potential suspect. You heard that right. Although it may be surprising for some, X and Drake have a not so friendly history together. During the trial's opening statements, Williams' defense attorney provided an alternative scenario that involved Drizzy. In his argument, Padilla brought up an old, now deleted IG story in which X wrote, "If anybody kills me, it's Drake." Padilla is suggesting that prosecutors never did their due diligence in investigating Drake as a suspect or person of interest after learning of X's previous claims.
Is Drake responsible for the death of Florida rapper XXXTentacion? The Canadian artist was the subject of one defense attorney's opening statement. Michael Boatwright, Dedrick Williams, and Trayvon Newsome are on trial for first-degree murder and robbery with a firearm for the June 2018 shooting of the 20-year-old rapper, whose real name was José Onfroy. The attorney for Dedrick Williams said in his statement that before his death, the victim made claims on social media that if anything happened to him, Drake was behind it. XXXTentacion later retracted those claims. Now the defense claims Drake wasn't properly investigated.
He came on social media and said, guys, before he dies, if anybody kills me, it's Drake. Do you think in that time span that they went and they addressed him, they talked to him? No. Do you think sitting here today, years later, any detective has ever asked, Drake or anybody like that? No, they never did that. So you ask yourself, how could that be?
The prosecution argued that there was no evidence linking Drake to this crime. A judge had previously denied a request to force Drake to be deposed in this case. Investigators say XXXTentacion was leaving a motorcycle shop in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, when he was ambushed, robbed, and shot to death in his vehicle. Drake has not been charged in connection with XXXTentacion's death. A fourth defendant, Robert Allen, has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and armed robbery for his role in the crime and is set to be sentenced later this month. He is a prosecution witness and testified against the other three defendants. The trial is expected to last until March, and all three suspects have pleaded not guilty to the charges against them.
All right, so you guys just saw those clips. So now what's very interesting, like I said, everything was kind of just swept under the rug and that was it. So for y'all who don't know, XXX was beefing with Drake. And the reason why XXX was mad is because Drake was still in his flow. Drake has a habit of attaching himself to new artists and taking their style, taking their flow, jumping on their track, trying to do a remix. But really it's to help Drake. It never really helps the artist. He did the same thing to Fetty Wap and many others.
On a Tuesday.
So XXX had kind of seen Drake's game, and he didn't want Drake jumping on his remix. He's like, I worked hard, I built my own career, I built my own fan base from jump, and you're not about to siphon and leech and be an energy vampire on what I created. So X used to go in and drag Drake all over social media. Check this out.
Keeping a blood roll, I still think Drake a like I think
he's not a man. I think he's a bitch. That's a bitch move.
I can't respect a that I got plastic. Bro, Drake look like he got Drake when they got plastic surgery, bitch.
If I was outside of jail and bro took my shit and previewed my shit in Amsterdam like he did, I would've, bro. What? I probably actually would have found a way to find, bro.
All right, so you guys just saw those videos. So then what's very interesting is shortly after X was killed, so if you guys remember 6 years ago, him and Travis Scott did a song together called Sicko Mode. And something in Sicko Mode caught a lot of fans' attention. If you guys remember in the first few minutes of the video, Drake is, rapping, and all of a sudden you see a huge comment basically fall from the sky and, crush a guy who looks like XXX. Y'all check this out. All right, so you guys just saw that clip. So a lot of people were kind of giving Drake the side eye back then, like, are you making fun of this young dead man? Like, what's that about? And Drake basically ignored the things that the internet was saying. But then if you guys remember just a year ago, remember a lot of the tea sippers were hitting me up, asking me what I thought about Drake's latest song called Her Loss. And in that, he was doing all of this, numerical nonsense. And basically, when you break it down, it breaks down to things that were attached to XXX. So a lot of folks were saying that Drake was planting some more Easter eggs about possibly having a hand in XXX's death. Y'all check this out.
A lot of people think Drake was involved with XXXTentacion's death, and fans think Drake dissed X on his new album, Her Loss, with the line, "Damn, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10. Maybe I should break that 10, do a 5. Then if it gets live, do a 5 again. Break a 20 and get 2 10s. Then add 2 5s to get another 10. Now you've got 3 10s, which is XXX in Roman numerals." Drake was being real low-key with this bar, but the next one in the song has fans going crazy. He said if he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again. Before he died, X had a wild beef with Drake where he took shots at his crew, accused him of jacking his flow, and even said he wanted to hook up with Drake's mom on IG Live. And that's why. All
right, so you guys just saw that video. Now, what I find very interesting is that, remember in Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us video, what does he say at the very beginning? Psst, I see dead people. Mustard on the beat, ho. A lot of people always wonder, what does he mean by I see dead people? So then a lot of folks were saying, was that a shot from Kendrick to Drake saying, fool, we know what you did, okay? Everything that happens in the dark comes to light eventually. So now what's very interesting, it's gone from internet legend and memes and conspiracies to, as of today, breaking news. Derek Williams' attorney discusses the appeal brief because what happened is that XXX's killer, he points to Drake being involved in his appeal brief. He's filing an appeal and he brings up Drake's name. So I'm going to go ahead and read to you guys this article. It says, Derek Williams' attorney is trying to create reasonable doubt. It's been over 6 years since XXXTentacion's tragic and untimely death. One of the 4 men convicted of their alleged involvement in the fatal shooting, Derek Williams, was handed a life sentence in 2023. He, along with 2 other men, were found guilty of first-degree murder as well as armed robbery. Now he's filing court documents for an appeal, and according to Law and Crime Network, his petition points to the late rapper's alleged feud with Drake, arguing that proves that he could allegedly be an alternate suspect. Williams' attorney, Marcio Padilla, recently spoke with the outlet, describing how he's trying to create reasonable doubt. A defendant has every right to defend themselves, to show reasonable doubt wherever it may be, and to fully investigate and articulate to the jury an alternative shooter defense or an alternative defense when someone else committed the crime. He's not necessarily accusing Drake of carrying out the shooting. Instead, he's trying to prove that this lead wasn't looked into and that the investigation was sloppy. So basically, he's, in so many words, hinting that Drake was being protected by the record label. I want you guys to go ahead and watch some of these clips from Law and Crime.
One of the men convicted in the 2018 murder of rapper XXXTentacion is now appealing his conviction, and his legal team is focusing a lot of their attention on a major celebrity, Drake. We are going to explain the connections and the arguments as we sit down with Mauricio Padilla, the attorney for the convicted killer, Dedrick Devon Williams. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
In December of 2020, I filed a witness list. The state's reaction to that was to file a motion saying, we want the court to strike all of his witnesses, which is that's not even something that's legal or that you could do. You have to itemize who you want stricken. You just can't shotgun approach and say, I want all of his defense witnesses stricken. But the state attorney did that. So imagine the decedent said prior to his death, if anybody kills me, it's Champagne Papi, which is Drake's Instagram name. I laid out in extreme detail all of my defense witnesses list, which included many rappers, because at the end of the day, the victim in this case was a rapper. He had feuds, ongoing public feuds with not only Drake, but a lot of rappers that are either signed to OVO or related to Drake in some way, including sh00ter Breezy, which is a Chicago-based rapper, and a rapper that's from Toronto by the name of, he goes by Top 5, which is Hassan Ali. And I had to lay that all out in detail. The court was fully aware of my theory of defense. Prior to that, I filed a motion to perpetuate the testimony of Livingston Allen, which goes by the name of DJ Academics, because DJ Academics was friends with X and had posted long YouTube, content regarding this beef. He actually posted a YouTube saying that he was on the phone with X discussing the issue and the beef that he had with Drake, and specifically, X had either said or posted something about Drake's mom, and he had posted a picture of a Drake lookalike with semen on his face, and he wanted DJ Academics to post it on his own site, and he said, I'm not going to do that. And in that conversation, DJ Academics says that you better be careful, because even though, and I'm paraphrasing again, even though he's not a gangster, you may be pushing him. As a reaction to that conversation, X goes and says that he takes it out off the post off of his website or off of IG, and he says that his Instagram was hacked. I laid that out in my motion to perpetuate the testimony, which a motion to perpetuate testimony is when you have a witness that is relevant to your defense and that lives beyond the jurisdictional limits of the court, and that you feel that you're not going to be able to bring them into court. So I'm basically asking the court to allow me to go to California or wherever I have to go, depose this individual, and now with his deposition, if he doesn't show up, I could use it in my defense or in my case in chief, right? So I did that, argued it to the court, and the court, in a reaction, basically said, I'm not going to grant your motion to perpetuate testimony, just take his depo.
So this whole situation is insane. Drake's been wanting to be a mob boss. Okay, he was running OVO like he was the head honcho, mafioso style, trying to be like Jay Prince. Now he may just get that mob boss treatment, literally. Because at this point, it looks like there's no one to protect Drake. I think the record label was able to step in and say, no, you're not fucking up our money. You're not fucking with the biggest artist in the world. He doesn't have to come down and testify to any of this nonsense, these damn conspiracies. But the second Drake filed his own lawsuit against UMG and Spotify, I mean, these are big names. You know, what he's doing has enough to break the entire industry's, infrastructure and how these CEOs and executives eat. So he's playing a very dangerous game. So now that he's filed that lawsuit against them, there's no protection. Okay, my Kevin Samuels voice. No protection.
Cool. No protection.
And people have been saying this for years, that they felt like Drake was behind it. And, we all waited for him to go to the trial and nothing came of that. So it's very interesting now. Less than a few days after this lawsuit with UMG, you had Derek Williams filing an appeal and naming Drake. So this went from 0 to 100 real quick, okay?
0 to 100, nigga, real quick.
Like Cat Williams said, it's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side.
All lies will be exposed. That's all.
Again, I'm not saying that Drake, killed XXX, with his own gun. But who knows? Maybe he planted some seeds. Maybe he put some money out there in Florida, because the beef between him and XXX was definitely heating up. Even Cleo, XXX mama, was very nervous and thought that, something could happen. So this is really, really serious. This is insane. I think Drake's year is getting even worse for him, okay? But I leave the question up to y'all. Let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. How do y'all feel about this entire situation? Do you feel like Drake may have played a hand in this, you know? And that's why Derek Williams is now filing the appeal and naming him. Do you feel like he was being protected and now that protection is gone? So I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Please hit this video with a like. Feel free to share the video, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.